The galaxy had already made its decision. Humans were weak. That was what most species believed. Too emotional, too divided, too violent, too young. Inside the Grand Galactic Chamber, thousands of alien delegates sat in rising circles of silver and crystal. The chamber was massive. It was built around a glowing star core that floated in the center of the ceiling. Blue light filled the room, cold and sharp. At the very center of the chamber stood one human, Commander Elena Voss. She stood straight in her dark navy uniform. Medals rested on her chest. Her hands were calm at her sides. But inside, her heart was racing. Above her head, a projection of Earth slowly rotated in the air. Small, blue, fragile, so easy to judge. The High Council speaker watched her from a high throne made of white stone. The speaker was tall and thin, with silver skin and glowing white eyes. His voice echoed through the chamber, without the need for speakers. "Commander Elena Voss of Earth," he began. "You stand before the Galactic Union to request full membership for your species." The words fell heavy. Full membership meant protection, trade, shared knowledge, advanced technology. Without it, Earth would remain alone. Elena took a slow breath. "Yes," she said clearly. "Humanity seeks partnership. We seek peace among the stars." Murmurs moved across the chamber. Some aliens looked curious. Some looked bored. Some looked angry. The speaker raised one long hand, and silence returned. "The Council has reviewed humanity's history." Images filled the air around Elena. World wars, nuclear explosions, burning cities, protests, riots. Then other images followed. Hospitals, families, music, astronauts walking in space, people helping each other during disasters. The chamber studied every image carefully. "Humanity shows extreme aggression," the speaker continued. "Extreme emotion, extreme unpredictability." Elena did not speak. She knew this part would come. After careful review, the speaker said slowly, "The Council has reached a decision." The chamber became completely silent. Even the softness of the star core seemed to fade. "Humanity's request for full membership is denied." The words hit like a physical force. A quiet wave of whispers moved across the chamber. "Denied." Elena felt something heavy inside her chest, but her face did not change. She had prepared for this answer. Still, hearing it hurt. "May I ask why?" she said calmly. The speaker looked down at her. "Your species lacks stability. You fight among yourselves. You act without logic. You allow emotion to control decisions." Some delegates nodded. To grant humanity advanced access would be irresponsible. Irresponsible. The word echoed in Elena's mind. Earth would remain unprotected, alone, vulnerable. But before she could respond, the speaker lifted his hand again. "However, there's another matter." The tone in his voice changed. The chamber lights dimmed. The projection of Earth disappeared. In its place, an ancient star map appeared. It showed many systems across the galaxy. Several of them were marked in red. "These records are classified," the speaker said. "Only council members have knowledge of this threat." Elena felt her stomach tighten. "What threat?" she asked. The speaker did not answer immediately. Instead, the star map zoomed in on one red system. This system once held a civilization older and more advanced than any alive today. The image showed tall, shining cities in space. Massive fleets, powerful energy systems. They were peaceful, highly logical, extremely stable. The image suddenly flickered. The cities went dark. The fleets disappeared. Nothing remained. They were erased in less than one solar cycle. A cold silence filled the chamber. This pattern repeated. The speaker continued. Another red system, then another, all destroyed, all advanced, all powerful, all logical. What destroyed them? Elena asked quietly. The speaker's glowing eyes narrowed. "We do not know its true form. We call it the silence." The name felt wrong. Empty. It consumes energy. It disables technology. It feeds on structured systems. The star map zoomed out. Dozens of red systems blinked across different regions. "It moves slowly," the speaker said, but it always moves. Elena swallowed. And where is it now? The chamber lights dimmed even more. A new red signal blinked on the map, closer than the others. Much closer. It has been detected again. Whispers turned into worried voices. 2 outer colonies went dark 3 cycles ago, the speaker said. Destroyed? Elena asked. Yes. A pause. Then the speaker looked directly at her. But that is not the most important detail. Elena felt every alien eye in the chamber shift toward her. We have studied its movement pattern for millions of years, the speaker continued. There's one system it reached long ago and did not destroy. The map shifted again. A small blue world appeared. Earth. The chamber exploded with noise. That is impossible, one delegate shouted. It must be an error, another said. The speaker raised his hand for silence. The silence reached your solar system approximately 12,000 of your years ago. Elena's breath stopped. 12,000 years, she whispered. Yes. The image zoomed in on early human civilization. Small villages. Fire. Simple tools. Your species was primitive. No advanced technology. No fleets. No shields. The chamber waited. But instead of destroying Earth, the speaker said slowly, the silence vanished. The room went completely still. Vanished. Elena asked. It ceased to exist. No battle. No explosion. No record of conflict. It simply ended. Near Earth. That is not possible, one alien scientist said. Nothing has ever stopped it. The speaker's voice dropped lower. Except humanity. Shock spread across the chamber like a wave. Elena felt her mind racing. We had no space travel. No weapons. We didn't even know we were not alone, she said. Exactly, the speaker replied. The star map faded. The chamber lights slowly brightened again. For reasons we do not yet understand, the speaker said, your species survived an encounter that destroyed civilizations far greater than yours. A long silence followed. Then he spoke the words that changed everything. We denied your request because humanity is unstable. A pause. But now we must ask a different question. The speaker's glowing eyes locked onto Elena. What if humanity is not weak? He leaned forward slightly. What if humanity is the reason we are still alive? The chamber fell into complete silence. And for the first time since she entered that room, Elena was no longer standing as a rejected species. She was standing as a mystery, and possibly the galaxy's last hope. The chamber did not feel the same anymore. A few minutes ago, humanity was weak. Now, humanity was a question no one could answer. Commander Elena Voss stood still in the center of the grand chamber, but inside, her thoughts were moving fast. 12,000 years ago, the silence reached Earth, and then it vanished. How can that be possible? One alien delegate asked loudly. It has destroyed empires older than our stars, another said. It cannot simply disappear. The High Council speaker raised his hand again. There is more. The room grew quiet. A new projection appeared in the air. It showed early Earth, small human tribes, simple tools, fire in the dark. At the time of contact, the speaker explained, humanity was divided into thousands of small groups. You had no global government, no unified system, no planetary defense. Elena listened carefully. You were chaotic. The word echoed. Chaotic. Another alien scientist stepped forward. This one was short, with blue skin and 4 glowing eyes. We studied the energy patterns around your planet from that time. The scientist said there was a spike. What kind of spike? Elena asked. Emotional energy. The chamber reacted immediately. That is not scientific, someone shouted. Emotions are biological reactions, not cosmic forces. The blue scientist did not back down. Normally, yes, but humans are different. The projection zoomed closer to Earth. Images flashed quickly. Tribal wars, love between families, fear of the unknown, hope during hard winters, courage during battles, grief, joy. All species feel emotion, the scientist continued. But most advanced civilizations suppress it. They value logic, stability, Order. The scientist looked around the chamber. You value control. Silence. But humanity never removed emotion from decision-making, the scientist said. You built your entire culture around it. Elena felt something strange in her chest. Pride. The High Council speaker continued. The silence feeds on stable systems, perfect systems, predictable systems. Another projection appeared. Highly advanced alien worlds, clean cities, perfect order, calm societies, centralized control. And one by one, the speaker said, they fell. The image shifted back to Earth. But Earth was never stable. A quiet ripple of uncomfortable laughter moved across the chamber. You fought constantly, the speaker said. You changed leaders. You changed borders. You changed beliefs. You created art during war. You laughed during fear. You loved during chaos. The speaker paused. To a force that feeds on order, humanity may have been indigestible. The chamber became very still. Elena slowly understood. You're saying it couldn't survive us, she said quietly. We are saying, the speaker corrected, that your unpredictability may have disrupted it. The word hung in the air. Disrupted. A young alien delegate stood up suddenly. This is theory. We cannot depend on emotional instability as defense. The blue scientist nodded slowly. You are correct. We do not fully understand it. The speaker looked at Elena again, but the pattern does not end there. Another image appeared. Several smaller alien colonies across the galaxy, each one destroyed by the silence. But something new appeared in the data. A pattern. Notice these worlds, the speaker said. Elena studied the map. They were all advanced, all peaceful, all unified. No internal conflict, the speaker continued. No emotional extremes. Perfect harmony. And that made them vulnerable? Elena asked. Yes. The chamber shifted uneasily. But there is something else, the blue scientist said. The projection zoomed in again on Earth's timeline. After the silence vanished 12,000 years ago, humanity began advancing faster. Agriculture spread. Cities formed. Writing developed. Technology accelerated. Your growth curve increased sharply, the scientist said. That is normal development. One delegate argued. Not at that speed, the scientist replied. The room grew tense. You believe the encounter changed us, Elena said slowly. The speaker did not answer immediately. Instead, he showed one final image. A faint energy trace, ancient and nearly invisible, buried deep in Earth's upper atmosphere. It left something behind, the speaker said quietly. Elena felt her heart stop for a moment. What did it leave? We do not know. The energy trace pulsed softly on the screen. It is inactive, the speaker said, but it matches the energy signature of the silence. A whisper of fear spread through the chamber. So it's still on Earth? Someone asked. No, the scientist said quickly. Not active, not alive, but connected, the speaker added. Elena felt cold. You're saying humanity may be linked to the very thing that destroys galaxies? We are saying, the speaker said carefully, that humanity may have adapted to it. Silence filled the chamber again. If the entity is returning, Elena said slowly, it may return differently. Yes, the speaker replied. And this time, Elena continued, it may not vanish. A new red signal blinked on the star map, closer than before, much closer. A border colony of the Galactic Union. It suddenly went dark. The entire chamber gasped. That system was stable and peaceful, someone whispered. No internal conflict. No military. No fear. The speaker's voice lowered. It appears the silence has resumed movement. Elena stared at the blinking red signal. Her species had just been denied membership. Now the galaxy faced extinction. And suddenly, they were looking at humanity for answers. You isolated us because you feared our instability, Elena said. Yes, the speaker admitted. And now you fear something worse. The speaker did not deny it. If humanity is somehow resistant, Elena said carefully, you need us. A long pause. The chamber waited. The High Council speaker stood from his throne. For millions of years, we believed progress meant removing chaos. He looked around the chamber. Perhaps we were wrong. The red signal blinked again. Another colony went silent. The threat was moving faster now. The speaker turned back to Elena. Commander Voss, if we grant humanity temporary military cooperation status. He hesitated. Will your species stand with the galaxy? Elena did not answer immediately. She thought of Earth, of wars, of music, of love, of pain, of hope. Humans were not perfect. They were not calm. They were not logical all the time. But they survived. She lifted her head. Humanity does not abandon those in danger, she said firmly. The chamber watched her carefully. But understand this, she added. We are not your weapon. A pause. We are your equal. The speaker studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. For the first time in galactic history, we will place our survival in the hands of chaos. The red signal blinked again, closer, and this time, everyone in the chamber felt it. The silence was coming, and the galaxy had just chosen humanity as its shield. The decision was made. For the first time in history, humanity was no longer outside the Galactic Union, but they were not fully accepted either. They were something else now, a risk, a hope, a weapon no one fully understood. Commander Elena Voss stood beside the High Council speaker as the chamber slowly emptied. Alien delegates whispered in small groups. Some looked afraid. Some looked angry. Some looked at her like she was dangerous. The red signal still blinked in the center of the star map. One colony had already fallen. Another system had just gone silent. The silence was moving faster than before. This is different, the blue alien scientist said quietly. Studying new data. Its energy signature is stronger. How much stronger? Elena asked. 30% more intense than previous records. That number felt heavy. Why? The speaker asked. The scientist hesitated. We believe it is adapting. The word hit the chamber like ice. Adapting. That is not possible, one military delegate argued. It is a cosmic force, not a living creature. The scientist turned slowly. All forces evolve under pressure. Elena crossed her arms. And 12,000 years ago, it faced something new. The room went silent again. Humanity. A sharp alarm suddenly echoed through the chamber. Every delegate froze. A new red signal appeared on the map. Not at the border. Not far away. Closer. Much closer. That system is only 5 jumps from Earth, someone whispered. The speaker's voice became firm. Display full scan. The image zoomed in. What they saw made even the strongest alien officers step back. The entire star system looked dim. The main star itself had lost brightness. Energy readings were collapsing. Ships stationed there were drifting, powerless. No explosions. No debris. Just silence. Elena felt cold. It's draining everything, she said. Yes, the scientist replied. And faster than ever recorded. The chamber doors opened suddenly. A tall, armored alien officer rushed inside. Emergency report from the 5th Defense Fleet, he said urgently. Speak, the speaker commanded. They engaged distortion 3 hours ago, and they never got close. The chamber grew still. All systems shut down before weapons could activate. Crews are alive but trapped. Trapped. Elena asked, in their ships, life support failing slowly. A chill moved through the room. The silence was not destroying immediately. It was feeding, slowly. The speaker turned to Elena. This has never happened before. Elena stepped closer to the star map. Show me the distortion. The image zoomed deeper into the dark area of space. It did not look like a ship. It did not look like a creature. It looked like a tear in reality. A black ripple moving through space, bending light around it. And inside the ripple, faint flashes of red, like a heartbeat. It's stronger, Elena said quietly. Yes, the scientist agreed. It is no longer simply consuming. It is learning. The word echoed again. Learning. Elena felt her mind racing. What if 12,000 years ago it encountered humanity and survived in some form? The room went silent. The speaker's glowing eyes narrowed. You believe it changed because of your species? I believe, Elena said carefully, that if it left something behind on Earth, maybe it studied us. No one spoke for several seconds. That would mean, one delegate whispered, "It understands chaos now," Elena finished. Another alarm interrupted them. This time, the red signal pulsed violently. The distortion expanded. 2 more ships from the 5th Defense Fleet went dark. The military officer clenched his fists. "We are losing them." The speaker turned sharply. "Send reinforcements." The officer hesitated. "With respect, High Speaker, sending more ships may only feed it." Silence filled the chamber. Elena stepped forward. "What if human ships go instead?" Every alien I turned toward her. The speaker studied her carefully. "You believe your systems will resist it?" "I don't know," Elena admitted honestly. "But our ships are different." "How?" the scientist asked. "We don't rely fully on centralized control," she said. "Our systems are messy, redundant, manual overrides, independent power grids." Some delegates looked confused. "That sounds inefficient," one said. "It is," Elena replied calmly. "But it works." The speaker considered this. "You're suggesting a joint fleet?" "No," Elena said firmly. "I'm suggesting a human-led strike group." The chamber reacted immediately. "That is reckless. It is suicidal. You barely have membership status." Elena did not move. "You need data," she said. "You need to know how it reacts to us." The red distortion pulsed again. Closer, the speaker's voice lowered. "If humanity fails, Earth may be next." Elena felt the weight of that truth, but her voice stayed steady. "If we do nothing, everyone fails." The chamber fell silent. The High Council speaker slowly stood from his throne again. "For millions of years, we trusted logic above all else." He looked at the dying star system. "Logic is failing us." He turned to Elena. "You will have limited fleet support. Observation vessels only." Elena nodded. "That's enough." The speaker stepped closer. "If this entity has learned from humanity, it may target you directly." Elena gave a small, controlled smile. "Then it will learn something else." "What is that?" the speaker asked. She looked at the dark ripple on the screen. "That humans don't stop fighting." The red distortion suddenly flared brighter. For a brief second, the image flickered, and something appeared inside the ripple. A shape, not clear, but watching the chamber feed. Watching Earth's representative. The screen cut out. Every system in the chamber blinked once. Just once. Then returned. A warning. The scientist whispered slowly. "It knows we are observing." Cold fear filled the room. The silence was no longer just a force. It was aware, and for the first time in millions of years, it had noticed humanity. Elena stared at the darkened screen, and deep inside, she felt something she had not expected. Not fear, not doubt, but certainty. Whatever had survived 12,000 years ago, it was coming back to finish what it started. And this time, humanity would be ready. The human fleet moved first. 6 ships, not the biggest in the galaxy, not the most advanced, not the most beautiful, but built for survival. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the human flagship Resolute Dawn. The lights were slightly dim. Screens showed layers of data, warnings, and long-range scans. Ahead of them, space looked wrong. Stars bent around a growing black distortion. The dark ripple pulsed slowly, like a breathing wound in space. Behind the human ships, 3 alien observation vessels stayed at a safe distance. They did not move closer. They would not risk it. "Elena," said Captain Armin Reyes from the tactical station, "we are entering outer distortion range." "Status?" she asked calmly. "Minor interference. Power system stable. Manual backups ready." Elena nodded, switched to decentralized control. Around the fleet, human ships disconnected their unified command systems. Each vessel became independent. Each bridge gained full control over its own weapons and power. Alien observers watching from a distance whispered in confusion. "Why are they separating coordination?" one asked. The blue alien scientist responded quietly. "They are embracing disorder." The human fleet crossed the invisible line. Immediately, warning lights flashed. Energy drain detected. Reyes called out, "How bad?" 5% and rising. Elena held steady. Route auxiliary power through secondary grid. Reduce non-essential systems. On other ships, similar orders were shouted. Crews moved fast. Human voices filled the channels. But they were not calm. They were focused. Fear existed, but it did not freeze them. Inside the distortion, space grew darker. Stars disappeared completely. The black ripple surrounded them now. Then it happened. The alien observation ships suddenly transmitted emergency signals. Power collapse. We are losing control. On Elena's screen, the alien vessels outside the main distortion began drifting. Their lights flickered. Their systems shut down one by one. They're not even inside. Reyes said. Elena understood. It's expanding. The ripple was growing. Feeding. Signal them to retreat immediately. They can't, Reyes replied. Engines offline. The distortion pulsed brighter. The faint red glow inside it became stronger, almost like veins moving under black skin. Then every human ship felt it. A deep vibration. Not physical. Mental. Some crew members grabbed their heads. What is that? Someone whispered. Elena felt it too. A pressure inside her thoughts. Cold. Heavy. Empty. And then a voice. Not through speakers. Not through radios. Inside their minds. Order must remain. The bridge went silent. Several officers stared forward in shock. Did you hear that? Reyes asked quietly. Elena did not answer at first. The voice came again. Chaos spreads. Chaos disrupts. Chaos must be removed. The crew looked at Elena. It's communicating, she said softly. The red glow inside the ripple sharpened. A shape began forming. Not solid, not fully visible, but large, massive, stretching across kilometers of twisted space. The silence was not silent anymore. Commander, Reyes whispered, it's focusing on us. Power levels dropped again. 10% loss, engineering reported. Stabilize with tertiary reactor. We're trying. On the observation screen, one alien vessel outside the distortion went completely dark. No life signs. Gone. The crew felt it. This was not just energy drain. This was extinction. The voice returned. You changed the pattern. Elena's breath slowed. It remembers, she whispered. Reyes looked at her. What? 12,000 years ago. The entity's red glow intensified. You disrupted consumption. You corrupted design. The human ships shook violently. Panels sparked. But systems did not fully collapse. Because human ships were never perfect. They were patched, repaired, upgraded unevenly. Each ship slightly different. Each system unique. The silence struggled to fully map them. Energy loss stabilizing at 12%. Engineering shouted. It can't lock onto us fully, Reyes said. Elena stepped forward. Open broadcast channel. Commander? Reyes looked unsure. Do it. A wideband transmission opened. This is Commander Elena Voss of Earth, she said clearly. The voice inside their minds paused. You faced us once before, she continued. You failed. The bridge officers stared at her. The red glow flared violently. Primitive anomaly. Elena's voice grew stronger. We are not order. We are not perfect. We are not stable. She felt fear rising in her chest, but she let it stay. She did not suppress it. We fight. We adapt. We survive. The vibration inside the ships grew stronger. Several screens cracked. A crew member collapsed, but was quickly pulled back up. The silence responded. Instability damages structure. Instability spreads. Yes, Elena said quietly. It does. The human ships suddenly lost another 5% power. But instead of panicking, crews began improvising. Manual switches flipped. Cables rerouted by hand. Engineers ran physically between compartments. Alien ships relied on clean automation. Humans relied on people. Commander, Reyes said urgently, if we stay much longer, hull integrity will fail. Elena looked at the forming shape inside the ripple. It was trying to define itself, trying to focus, trying to understand humanity, and struggling. Prepare coordinated pulse strike, she ordered. With what power? Everything unstable. Reyes understood. Human reactors were never perfectly balanced. They fluctuated, spiked, dipped, overload secondary capacitors, she said. That could damage us. It will, she replied calmly. Across the fleet, captains followed her command. Power surged unevenly through human ships. Not smooth, not clean, chaotic. The distortion reacted violently. Red veins flickered erratically. Pattern collapse detected. Fire, Elena shouted. 6 human ships released a wave of unstable energy pulses. Not synchronized perfectly. Not identical. The distortion screamed. Not a sound, but a tearing sensation across every mind. The red glow shattered briefly. The massive shape inside the ripple flickered. For a moment, the darkness thinned. Stars became faintly visible beyond it. It's weakening, Reyes shouted, but the relief lasted only seconds. The ripple began closing again, stronger, angrier, learning faster. Correction initiated, adaptation accelerating. Elena's face went pale. It's adjusting to our chaos. Power levels dropped again. 15%, 16%. The alien observation ships were completely silent now, dead in space. The silence focused entirely on humanity. And then, it did something new. The red glow shifted. Instead of attacking systems, it targeted minds. Crew members screamed. Memories surfaced violently. Fears intensified. Doubt grew like poison. It's attacking psychologically, someone yelled. Elena felt it too. Her worst memories rising. Failures. Loss. Regret. The silence whispered inside her thoughts. Chaos contains weakness. Fear fractures unity. Her hands trembled, but she refused to look away from the screen. We are not perfect, she whispered. Around her, human voices began speaking. Not commands, not fear, but reminders. For Earth, for our families, for each other. The bridge slowly steadied. The emotional noise became something else. Connection. The distortion hesitated. For the first time, it could not process what it was sensing. Not fear, not logic, but collective will. Elena lifted her head. This isn't over, she said quietly. The distortion did not retreat. It changed. The dark ripple stopped expanding. It stopped attacking blindly. Instead, it became still, too still. Commander Elena Voss watched the screen carefully. The red veins inside the darkness were no longer wild. They were moving in slow, controlled patterns. It's studying us, Captain Reyes said quietly. Yes, Elena replied. And now it knows we can hurt it. The bridge lights flickered again. Power levels were unstable. Several systems were running on emergency backup. Across the fleet, one human cruiser, the Horizon Breaker, drifted slightly off formation. Elena, Reyes said urgently, Horizon Breaker is reporting severe neural interference. On screen, Captain Malik of the cruiser appeared. His face was pale. It's inside our heads, he said. It's not just speaking. It's searching. Behind him, crew members held their heads in pain. The silence was no longer draining power. It was scanning minds, looking for something. What is it searching for? Reyes asked. Elena felt a cold realization form in her thoughts. It's looking for the anomaly, she said softly. The anomaly? Reyes repeated. The reason it failed 12,000 years ago. At that moment, the distortion pulsed once. A deep red wave moved through space. The Horizon Breaker suddenly lost all visible power. Its lights went dark. No! Reyes shouted. Life signs flickered. Not gone, but fading. The silence focused entirely on that one ship, as if testing something. Inside the darkness, a clearer shape began forming. Not just a ripple now. A core. A central mass of shifting red light. It's concentrating. The blue alien scientist reported from a distant monitoring station. Energy density increasing rapidly. Elena clenched her jaw. It wants to isolate a single emotional pattern, she said. Explain, Reyes demanded. It feeds on order, but it failed against chaos. Now it's isolating one human mind at a time, trying to understand us piece by piece. On the darkened horizon breaker, Captain Malik suddenly screamed. The comm channel crackled. "It's showing us something," he shouted. "What?" Elena asked urgently. "Our past." On screen, fragmented images appeared from the cruiser's internal feed. Human history, wars, suffering, violence, destruction. The silence was pulling painful memories forward. Fear levels on the cruiser spiked. The red core inside the distortion brightened. "It's trying to prove we are self-destructive," Reyes whispered. "Yes," Elena said. "If it convinces us we are broken, we collapse." On the cruiser, one young officer began crying. "We're monsters," he whispered. "Maybe it should erase us." The red glow intensified. It was feeding on doubt. Elena felt anger rise in her chest. "Open full fleet channel," she ordered. The channel connected all 6 human ships. "This is Commander Voss," she said firmly. Her voice cut through the noise. "Listen to me carefully." The bridge quieted. Across the fleet, humans listened. "Yes, we have dark history," she continued. "Yes, we have war. Yes, we make mistakes." The red glow pulsed again. "But we also rebuild." Images began appearing on the main screen, not controlled by the silence, controlled by humans. Families after disaster, cities rebuilt after war, hands helping strangers, doctors saving lives, music in the streets. "We fall," Elena said, her voice steady, "but we stand up again." On the horizon breaker, crew members slowly lifted their heads. The red glow flickered slightly. The silence hesitated. "It cannot understand contradiction," the blue scientist said over comms. "It processes stability or collapse, not both at once." Elena stepped closer to the main window of the bridge. "Humans are both," she whispered. The distortion trembled. Inside the red core, shapes shifted rapidly. Data streams spiked. "It's unstable," Reyes shouted. But then something unexpected happened. The silence stopped attacking. Instead, a focused beam of red light shot from the distortion toward the human flagship, directly at Resolute Dawn. Impact in 3 seconds. "Brace," Reyes yelled. The beam struck the ship. The bridge filled with blinding red light. Elena felt her body freeze. Her thoughts stopped. And suddenly, she was somewhere else. Not on the ship, not in space. She stood on Earth, a quiet field under a blue sky. She recognized it immediately, her childhood home. The silence had pulled her into a memory. A young version of herself ran across the grass, laughing. The red glow appeared in the sky above the field. "Watching, studying. You seek weakness," Elena said aloud. The memory did not respond. "You think our pain defines us." The field darkened slightly. Storm clouds gathered. Images shifted. She saw herself older. Loss, funerals, hard choices, fear during war. The red presence moved closer, analyzing. "You don't understand," Elena whispered. The storm grew stronger. Lightning cracked across the sky. "Yes, we hurt," she said. "Yes, we fail." The red presence expanded, as if ready to consume the memory. But then, the scene changed again. She saw humans standing together during crisis. She saw sacrifice. She saw courage. She saw love. Bright golden light push against the red glow. "We are not just chaos," she said. "We are connection." The red presence flickered violently. It tried to isolate one emotion. It failed, because human emotion was never single. It was layered, contradictory, messy, beautiful. The golden light spread across the memory. The field became brighter. The red presence shrank slightly. Back on the bridge, alarms rang loudly. "Elena, respond!" Reyes shouted. Her eyes snapped open. She was back. The red beam disconnected. Power surged back into flagship. Across the fleet, systems stabilized slightly. The distortion pulsed erratically. "It tried to map you," Reyes said. Elena breathed heavily. "It can't reduce us to one pattern," she replied. The blue scientist spoke urgently. Energy readings show something new. On the main screen, inside the red core, a new signal appeared. Faint, very faint. The same ancient energy signature detected in Earth's atmosphere. The remnant from 12,000 years ago. It's reacting to it, the scientist said. It remembers, Elena whispered. The silence had not just encountered humanity long ago. It had been altered by it, infected, changed, and now it was afraid. The red core pulsed unevenly. The massive distortion around them flickered. For the first time since its return, the silence showed instability. Elena looked at the dark ripple. You came back to correct your mistake, she said softly. The distortion trembled again. But you made one. The fleet held position. Human ships damaged, but standing. The enemy confused. Learning, but not winning. Not yet. And deep inside the red core, something ancient was breaking. The distortion was no longer stable. The red core inside the dark ripple flickered again and again. Its movements were no longer smooth. Its energy waves were uneven. For the first time in millions of years, the silence was confused. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge of Resolute Dawn, watching the readings carefully. Every human ship was damaged. Hull plates were cracked. Power grids were strained. Crews were exhausted. But they were alive. And the enemy was no longer in control. It is fragmenting, the blue alien scientist reported through the comm channel. Energy structure is unstable. The red core pulsed sharply, as if reacting to words. On the screen, the ancient energy trace, the same faint signature discovered in Earth's atmosphere, glowed brighter. It recognizes it, Elena said quietly. Reyes looked at her, or it fears it. Elena's mind replayed what she had seen inside the memory projection. The silence could not process layered emotion. It could not survive contradiction. It needed order consume. And humanity was never ordered. We are not its weakness, she whispered. We are its error. The red core suddenly expanded outward, sending a shock wave through space. All 6 human ships shook violently. Hull stress rising. Engineering shouted. The distortion was trying one last time to reassert control. Inside the ripple, the red mass reshaped into something clearer. A massive structure. Sharp lines. Symmetrical. Perfect geometry. It was stabilizing itself through order. It's rebuilding its structure, Reyes said. Yes, Elena replied. It learned from us. Now it's removing the chaos. The alien scientist's voice trembled slightly. Energy levels rising rapidly. If it stabilizes fully, it may become immune to human interference. That was the danger. If the silence adapted completely, humanity would no longer disrupt it. Elena stepped forward. Open fleet-wide channel. All human ships connected instantly. Her voice filled every bridge. Listen carefully. It is trying to become perfect. Silence on the channel. If it becomes stable, we lose. Captain Malik from the Horizon Breaker responded weakly. Then what do we do? Elena took a breath. We remind it what we are. Reyes understood first. You want to increase emotional output across the fleet. Yes. The alien scientist sounded shocked. That is irrational. Emotional spikes may destabilize your own systems. Elena's voice became firm. We were never built to be perfectly stable. Across the fleet, human crews looked at each other, confused, nervous, but trusting. Open personal channels. Elena ordered. One by one, private communication links opened inside every ship. Families appeared on screens. Old recordings. Messages saved for years. Photos. Voices. Laughter. Memories. The bridge of Resolute Dawn filled with soft sounds. Children laughing. Music playing quietly. Voices saying, "Come home safe." The silence reacted immediately. The red core flickered violently. Energy readings spiked in unpredictable waves. It's destabilizing again. Reyes shouted. The perfectly shaped geometry inside the ripple began breaking apart. The silence tried to isolate one signal. It could not. Love mixed with fear. Hope mixed with grief. Courage mixed with doubt. Layer upon layer of contradiction. Across the fleet, humans were crying, smiling, remembering, not suppressing emotion, embracing it. The distortion trembled harder. Cracks of bright light formed across the red core. The silence attempted to send another mental attack. But this time, it did not find weakness. It found unity. Not perfect unity. Human unity. Messy. Emotional. Strong. Elena stepped toward the main screen. "You tried to erase us once," she said softly. The red glow pulsed erratically. "You left something behind." The ancient energy trace from Earth flared brighter. The alien scientist gasped. "It is resonating with your emotional field." Elena understood now. 12,000 years ago, when the silence touched Earth, it encountered raw human emotion for the first time. It tried to consume it. Instead, it fractured. A fragment of its own energy remained trapped in Earth's atmosphere, changed, altered, contaminated by humanity. And now that fragment was reacting, fighting back. "It infected itself," Reyes whispered. "No," Elena corrected quietly. "It evolved by accident." The red core split down the center. Brilliant white light burst through the crack. The distortion screamed silently across every mind. Instability, spreading. Human ships channeled one final unstable energy pulse. Not coordinated perfectly. Not clean. Chaotic. The pulses struck the fractured red core. The silence shattered. The dark ripple collapsed inward. Light returned to space. Stars reappeared. The red glow faded slowly. And then it was gone. No explosion. No debris. Just emptiness. For several long seconds, no one spoke. Systems slowly stabilized. Power returned. Across the fleet, humans stared at the clear star field in disbelief. "Confirm target status," Elena said quietly. Reyes checked scans. No distortion detected. Energy signature gone. The alien scientist's voice trembled. "It is erased." Silence filled the comm channel. But this time, it was peaceful. Far behind them, the alien observation vessels slowly regained minimal power. They had survived. The Galactic Union had survived. Human ships, damaged and scarred, floated together in space. Not perfect, but standing. Back in the Grand Galactic Chamber, the High Council speaker watched a live feed replay. For the first time in recorded history, the ancient destroyer was gone. When the human fleet returned days later, the chamber was full again. But the atmosphere was different. No whispers of weakness. No judgment. Only respect. Commander Elena Voss stood once more at the center. The speaker descended from his throne and stood at her level. "For millions of years," he said slowly, "we believed progress meant removing chaos." He paused. "Today we understand the truth." He looked around the chamber. Chaos, when bound by connection, is strength. He faced Elena directly. "Humanity is not a minor species." A long silence followed. "You are not a weapon." Another pause. "You are a safeguard." The chamber rose in acknowledgement. Not applause, but honor. The speaker continued. "The hidden truth about humanity's role in the galaxy is now clear." Elena listened quietly. When order becomes tyranny, when logic becomes weakness, when perfection becomes fragile. He raised his hand toward her. Humanity restores balance, not because they are flawless, not because they are peaceful, but because they are alive in every sense. Messy, emotional, unpredictable. Humanity was granted full membership in the Galactic Union that day. But more than that, they were recognized as something rare, not the strongest, not the most advanced, but the species that could survive the impossible. As Elena looked out from her ship at the open stars, she finally understood. The galaxy did not need perfection. It needed resilience. And resilience is born from struggle, from emotion, from chaos, from humanity. And somewhere in the deepest parts of space, the echo of the silence was gone, not destroyed by order, but undone by the one thing it could never understand, the human heart.